The third question that Bryan Denlinger challenges Pastor Anderson with is, can you provide documented proof of Bible-believing Christians teaching a pre-wrath rapture before 1830? To be honest, I've not really looked at the full historical issue, but I don't really believe it's necessary for us to go back and look at what people have been teaching in the past. The reason I say this is because many of the times in the past, people were simply viewing the book of Revelation according as they saw fit with the struggles of their life and so on. They interpreted eschatology in light of their current circumstances. And I think to some extent every generation does that. But honestly, it's not really until about now that we can really see the technology, we can really see the conditions that are necessary in order for Christ's return to be soon enough, or feel that he would come back in this generation today. So, no, I'm not necessarily aware of anybody who's put forth the exact same view as Pastor Anderson has, but that doesn't mean it's unbiblical. I think a lot of people have said a lot of different things about the rapture and just the coming of Christ and the end times in general over the 2,000 or so years of church history. But I think simply because it's taken such a long time for the King James Bible to come out in relation to when the New Testament actually began. I mean, 1,600 or so years, after at least Christ came onto the scene, that the tools and resources weren't available for everyone to effectively study Bible prophecy, and just the understanding of the King James Bible being the Bible, the exact words of God. Unless you've really had that view and that tool and access, your eschatology was going to be somewhat different from what you can plainly read in the King James Bible, depending on the different language or Bible you were reading at the time. So, again, I don't have documented proof of someone teaching a pre-wrath, Pastor Anderson type of view before 1830. But I would say that the pre-trib rapture, although supposedly there's proof of it being an early doctrine, it didn't get off until really the 1830s with dispensationalism. Supposedly, the historical view is a Revelation 19 type of rapture, which I don't hold to. But I believe that's an error, as evidenced by some of the videos I've put out. So I don't consider myself to be bound to historical orthodoxy as far as interpretation of the Bible. I'm simply claim to be an independent thinker who can think for myself and will come up with my own views of Scripture. And whether or not somebody's come up with it before doesn't really concern me. I'm sure there's somebody out there before 1830 who believed in a view that's similar to the rapture that Pastor Anderson holds to, but maybe not documented, because not everybody wrote their beliefs down or communicated them to other people. But I'm convinced that this is the post-trib pre-wrath view is the view of the Bible, and it's the view of the apostles, and you would have understood it, if you were the original audience that Paul was writing to, or any of the other apostles and the Gospels that were written and so on. So no, I don't have documented proof, but this is somewhat of a non-issue because there's a lot of views that are considered supposedly orthodox in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries that they're there, but they're heretical views in light of taking the King James Bible literally. And a lot of what are called church fathers actually are Catholic fathers. So there's a lot of heresy with the church fathers and what they believe. I mean, some of them were good. I mean, I don't know exactly who, but I know guys like Origen and so on. That was absolute heresy, and that's those people are put forth as what if they believed it, then it's legitimate. Well, I don't hold to that view at all. I hold to believing the King James Bible on my own, coming up with my own conclusions from Scripture, as opposed to the need to study the past in order to get a view of the Bible.